let's go and visit my favorite uncommon commanders from the Final Fantasy set. The first one is the Emperor of Palamecia. It's a 2-mana Izzet commander. It's a human noble wizard. That's a 2/2. Tap it, you can add blue or red and spend it only to cast a non-creature spell. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, it gets a +1/+1 counter. And if it has 3 or more +1/+1 counters, you transform it. When you transform it, it becomes the Lord Master of Hell. It has Starfall, and whenever the Lord Master of Hell attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard. So you want to cast big instants and sorceries. You want to go and have them fill your graveyard and deal damage when you attack. Seems like a lot of fun. Then we were Idea, Summoner of Mist. It's a 2-mana Gruul commander. That's a 1/2. Whenever a land you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So as card draw or card selection on the commander. But where it's really good is the summon ability that for X and tapping it, you can return target Saga card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it, and it gains haste until end of turn. The reason why it's important that it gains haste is because of the Saga creatures that are now in existence, thanks to Final Fantasy. Also has activate only as a sorcery, so you can only do it on your turn. But yeah, the fact that this fuels itself by the landfall ability and has a reanimation, it's just a lot of fun. And what would a set be without a big Simic commander? Omega Heartless Evolution is a 7-mana Simic robot. It's an 8/8 with Wave Cannon. When it enters, for each opponent, tap up to 1 target non-land permanent that opponent controls, and it gets X stun counters on it, and you gain X life, where X is the number of non-basic lands you control. Everyone's playing non-basics, so take advantage of it and tap the really annoying thing. And it's probably going to be tapped for the rest of the game. Gaiet, King of the Dwarves, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, is a 2-mana Boros 1/1 for a dwarf noble that has double strike, and when it or another dwarf you control enters, and whenever an equipment you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Having card selection on a Boros commander is really nice, as these two colors tend to go and struggle with having that advantage. And finally, Garnet, Princess of Alexandria, is a 2-mana Selesnya commander. It's a human noble cleric that's a 2/2 with lifelink. And whenever it attacks, you may remove a lore counter from each of any number of sagas you control, and you put a +1/+1 counter on Garnet for each lore counter removed this way. So you have +1/+1 counter synergies, which Selesnya is great at. You remove lore counters, which means that your next turn you get to trigger your lore counters again. It's just a really great way to play with sagas. What are your favorite uncommon commanders?